Yeah.
for you, like what is your specialty? What do you like to do?
I'm a street crimes guy. It's always been my goal to get on a street crime style unit. And I finally did. And now everyone, I get it. They're like, "What's next?" I'm like, "I'm enjoying." When I was a street cop, when I was a patrol deputy, I enjoyed that shit. That's why you get into cop work. You mentioned it earlier. Obviously, everybody has career aspirations, right? Like, oh, I want to be a homicide detective. But I can't stand it when new guys come in the door and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Like, no, you're going to pick up calls for a couple years, bro. Like, you're going to
Yeah.
learn the basics. I haven't even gotten to go to that. So get your ass in line, new guy. That. But like, I enjoyed being a zone deputy, a beat cop for a long time until I was like, you know what? Now I'm gonna put in for the specialty unit. Um, so I did that, the street crimes unit, and now I'm there. I've been there for a year, and I like it. And I don't really care to go anywhere else yet. I want to enjoy my time in there because I feel like once you're already looking at your next goal, you can't enjoy what you're doing. And I really don't care for long-term investigations. I don't really care for any type of detective work. I want to be there for when detectives need some kind of field activity. Like if you're like, "Hey man, my guy operates at 7 p.m. Can you go do this, that, and that and see what you can get?" That's what I'm there for. I'll report to you the next day my findings, and I'm done. I don't have a I don't have to continue the narrative of this and that and dope. I arrest for dope. For that day, off to jail. I suppress the streets to keep it at bay. It's up to narcotics to do the long term ones that really do the damage to dope. But I will help out narcotics if they need something. That's kind of what I enjoy doing. But I got another 17 years left until retirement, so
Yeah.
we'll
And
see what I go to.
you brought up a good point about the new guys coming in. That's what I'm going to do and da 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 da. Listen, you know how many times like when I first came into police work, I had ideas of stuff I wanted to do. And I'm not going to say I came through the door saying this is what I'm going to do. And I don't think I ever did that personally, but I can tell you by getting a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years as I kept going with my patrol time, I ended up doing 10 years of patrol. Um, as I did my patrol time, my goals and ideas of what I wanted to do changed every year
Yeah.
because of my experience. So don't come in the door thinking you're going to do this specific job because you don't even understand what that job is yet because you don't understand the street. You don't understand patrol. You got to get that under your belt first. So that's an important thing for these new guys coming out. And then for you, what you just said, and I'm give you a little bit of my experience. Although being a detective isn't necessarily what you want to do, I would recommend at least doing like if your place allows this, go work. Be basically a detective's right hand for a month, 2 weeks, whatever they'll let you get away with. If you can do 2 weeks to a month, I think that would be the perfect amount of time. But write some warrants, dig into an investigation on some of the general assignment stuff. I'm not saying get into a homicide or anything like that. Just a property crime in general. That's an easy one, and get that experience of starting the case, going through and all that. I know, and I'm talking shit because I don't know what your department does. Some departments, your street level cop does all that. They write the warrant and they get it all the way to that point, and then they pass it on to whoever. I don't know. So, but for you, if you ever get a chance, try to do that, man. It really does give you, even if you want to stay what you're doing, it just makes you better. It gives you like this. You all of a sudden now you're doing an investigation. When you pass it off to a detective, he's like, "Holy shit! Like this dude nailed it all. I don't got to do. I just got to file the case."
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
beautiful.
mean, the way I came in the door wanting to be a super cop, and change the world and stuff like that. But for me, this is gonna sound cynical at first. So everybody listening, especially you, don't
I
don't
love the
think I have a
precursor.
don't think I have a bad attitude because I don't. But
All right.
I struggled with this for a while until I came to this realization is that um, you know, being the best government worker to me is kind of dumb only because I know you're trying to get to a position of your job that you enjoy. and that makes sense. Like, I don't want to be patrol for 20 years. I want to go. I want to be law enforcement. So I'd rather go do something else. So I'm really going to try hard to that makes sense to me. Um, but it was it was just being, we you've been there. You've been passed up on things where sometimes the right person doesn't get the job. You busted your ass, and it's not like you own your own business where you get to reap the rewards of your hard work. Government work is government work. It's not the private world. It's not your own business. It is the government world, and it is a very political place. Some agencies are better than others. So I adopted this mindset. I am here for the people. I'm a constitutionalist, and you get away from that when you're off the road, and that's just human nature. You stop interacting with so many people. You still do your interviews and stuff, right? You still go out there. I'm sure detectives at least work about 5 minutes a week doing real cop work, but but
Burn.
but you still do have human interaction, probably more than the average person. But as a cop, you get to really see emotions in people, and like you live through that with people, and it can drain your energy for sure. But that's where I'm at right now. My old agency, we used to do a lot of detective work because misdemeanor crimes detectives didn't have the time for. It was tasked to you. It wasn't an option. Where I work now, it's highly encouraged to take your own case because the detectives, again, are so busy. If you go, hey, you mind if I work this and just ask you when I got some questions, they're going to go, oh, hell yeah. Work anything
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
So, and then we're also allowed to do this thing called cross training, where you can go on your days off, or if you have manpower, if your manpower is good, you can go on your work days, and you can go shadow with the unit that you're interested in. You essentially pay your dues. You get FaceTime with this, and whatever unit this is, kind of gets to start working with you. They can see how quick you learn, how into it you are, and whether or not you mesh with that unit. And that's a big thing too. You can't have a team full of pipe hitters and then have someone come in that does not match that dynamic. You can't have a group that's a solid group of people and then mix someone in that doesn't think like them, or now there's no trust because who's this new guy that we don't mesh with, and it kind of breaks up the integrity of that unit. Which it sounds bad, but it's true. You got 8 guys on a task force. If they're thinking and moving as a unit, they're going to get a lot more accomplished than 8 guys who just work together. So that's just kind of been my thing. So I do have the opportunities when I'm ready
Yeah.
to do that. And another thing too is I'm big on making changes, and people go, well, Tyler, why don't you promote? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. However, the big thing is go get some detective experience before you promote, because if you promote and you've only done patrol, now when that spot opens up in property or narcotics or stuff, you don't stand a chance because you have no we
Yeah.
call it CID, but you have no detective experience.